Okay, so let's backtrack a little bit. So we've seen these three photos. Of the three photos, this is the Stephanie I knew. I have no idea who this chick is, even though she's the one that sent me the picture. This nose and this nose are the same. This nose is not. This is anatomically incorrect. How so? Look at the distance from her shoulder blade to her ear. That's an easy 6 inches. Easy. It's not even, that this isn't even humanly possible. Imagine her laying on her back in a bed on a pillow. How far, the distance here is not normal. Let's look at another picture. Here's the Stephanie I knew right here. Looks normal. Looks the same as this one. This is her. Abby must have been, I don't know what age. But look at the distance on the neck. Now this is back. She still was carrying some weight from having the kid. See the distance from the ear to the neck, to the ear, to the base of the neck. Look at this here. This picture is 100% bullshit. However, let's look at something. You remember this picture? This picture was taken on the same day that this one was. Theoretically. How do we know that? The top strap is the same. The bra strap and the bra strap. And when was that taken? August 7th, 2020. They moved in there on the 19th. Now, we know that this is a symbol for Baal. We know that that's the symbol for Asherah. Okay? What is the purpose of these rituals? It's to create an altered state of mind, one that can be compartmentalized and programmed. So, at what point during the day, because I highly doubt she wore this in 2 days in a row, did she go from meandering around here in the garden with her kid to standing here and looking off into the distance? Now this is the picture of Stephanie I know. It looks just like this one, right? The key to this thing is this. That tattoo. Remember I showed you the hummingbird and the hibiscus flower, which represents Kali. And what is Kali? Kali is the flower that represents, or the hibiscus represents Kali, the goddess of death. This thing is like something from the X-Files. And they handed me the fucking file and said, figure it out. The problem is that I'm emotionally involved because, well, I wasn't in love with E.T. over here. I was in love with this one right here. So sometimes I look in places for answers where a normal person won't look. So I went to an AI program I use, and it's not that ChatGPT, which is crap. Anyway, I asked it if it knew anything about this murder. And here's what it said. Well, according to these articles, Stephanie Francis was found dead in her home in Hopkinton, Rhode Island back in 1985, not 2024. The cause of death was ruled as asphyxiation, and there were signs of a struggle. That's an interesting bit. It says here that Joe Francis called the police to report that he found his wife, Stephanie, and their 2 children dead in the home. The police arrived at the scene, confirmed the deaths. The cause of death for Stephanie Francis was determined to be strangulation. The exact cause of death for the 2 children has not been disclosed. Joe Francis has been arrested and charged with the murder of his wife and 2 children. Now, that's an AI response. Is it true? Who knows? Maybe it's quantum. Maybe that's what happened to her on another level. I don't know. I do find it interesting that it goes on to say that her profession was a nurse, which is interesting because her mom's email keeps getting mixed in with hers, and her mom was a nurse. So that's just a side note. So I'm kind of jumping around here. So this is the picture that they used for the news report, what I could find of it. I want you to look at this closely. Look at the distance from her collarbone to her ear. No woman's neck is that fucking long. Her neck muscles wouldn't be strong enough to support her fucking head. Look at it. From here all the way down to here. This is the picture that they used on the news. You notice the color here is the same. And this was taken about the same time. It's anatomically impossible. I don't know what this is. So the question is, who's posting these fake photographs? And why? And where is the chick that I was with? Why would you use this hideous picture of some anatomically incorrect human being instead of the modern day one that looks like her? I don't know what kind of sleight of hand they're using. I do know that they're doing it because there was something going on up there, which was definitely child trafficking, which we're going to get to this in a minute. Now, the interesting thing is I wrote her a long thing saying that I was going to send her a thumb drive with a lot of information on it. And that basically her and her gaggle of lesbian, Canaanite, Amorite, practicing witches, child trafficking, murdering witches, would be coming to an end. And it's the first time that I actually watched her in real time reading this. What's interesting is that not only does she not remove the comment, she makes no comment. That's why I'm wondering if this is even a human entity that I'm dealing with. Because any one of you watching this right here, right now, if you were to get a text that accused you of not only being a pedophile, but a murderer and a child trafficker, would probably have something similar to this. Fuck you. Who are you? Why are you bothering me? Go the fuck away. Those would be the normal responses, not silence. But deleting it would be the same as not commenting. It's both an admission of guilt. So this is the picture off her Facebook page. You'll notice every one of them have something in common. Sunflower, sunflower. See it right there? Sunflower, 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 sunflower earring. And what do we see here? The oddly shaped hand. See it? Now I'm looking at my hand, and my hand doesn't go out at a 45-degree angle. And notice that first finger. It's just shooting out just enough to send out the message that we're one of you people. See it? Looks kind of out of place, don't it? Looks a little mannish, don't it? Whatever this is, this reeks, and it's all occult shit. And whatever these things are, they're not as smart as they might think that they are. When a stupid tree guy like myself can sit down and figure this shit out, you're not too smart. That ain't normal neither. We're dealing with something otherworldly. These are Nephilim. They're human with attributes of the fallen angels. The whole Og thing in Stephanie and Joe's name. And we have to stop and understand that if this was AI you wouldn't see it moving and reading it. It would just read it. It wouldn't go through the motion of moving the icon marker. This is something not human. So what I'm doing right now is trying to establish whether Amy Laska really truly exists, or if it's just some created character. And if that is the case, then why would Stephanie say she was at her house? I won't know that, because when I send out the thumb drive, I'm sending it where you have to sign for it, and then they send the return card back to you to let you know that they signed for it. And then I get to see the signature that's on it. At this point, without going straight to their fucking house, it's the only way that I can prove that there's an actual person at that address. Now in the movie The Shining, this kid Danny, who was sodomized by his dad, when he would go to the mirror, when he was talking to his alternate, right, his alter, he would put his finger up. So that's telling us that that finger represents a dick, which is the thing that inflicted the splitting of the mind, right, into compartmentalized altars. So he's got the finger up, she's got the finger over here. What are these altars? Who are these people really? I don't know. Was Stephanie an altar? I know her physical body wasn't. See, you can't, that they can't do. They can't make multiples of themselves physically, but mentally they can. So we can learn from this movie that in the mirror, when the finger is up, it's showing you that that's an altar that was created. And his altar's name was Tony. So, couples like to send each other stuff. And she was real big on, she wanted to send me some nudes, photographs, and I said, absolutely not. I said, the internet is not secure. Secondly, those things can be intercepted and be used to bribe you. I said, and thirdly, I don't want any nudes of her. No, she was very beautiful, but there's too much risk involved sending shit over the internet. I don't do that stuff. So her counter to that was this. She sent me a pair of underwear, this is an interesting color. Isn't it? It's a very interesting color for her to send. So I got him, I was like, okay, well, that's kind of sexy and cute and all of that shit. And so that's when I was in Michigan working. This was I was staying in Tecumseh. That would have been like in August of 23. Anyhow, so those were around for a long time, even after I left there and moved and went back down to Illinois. Well, no, then I went to Connecticut, and that's where we were together. So this was the pair she sent me. Well, about a month and a half ago, I started looking for those, and I couldn't find them. What I did find is something that is weird and I cannot explain. This pair, I don't know where this pair went and where this pair came from, because this is definitely hers. Usually I'm one of the last people to be at a loss for words or explanations. These left, these showed up. Now there was a girl I was talking to on here, and she said she wouldn't even know where to get a pair of panties that color. And there's a picture of Stephanie with her finger down and making the dragon's claw right here. Notice the color of the shirt. It's very similar to this color. It could be the lighting, but they're very, very close. How in the fuck did this pair disappear and this pair show up? Which they're right over here. Matter of fact, I keep those things out in the open constantly to make sure that there's no more of this, whatever this switching is. Because what this is telling me is the situation with the gun in West Virginia, where it had a round in the chamber when I woke up and I didn't put it there. The weird-ass license plate with the latitude and longitude of the fallen angels, and the swapping of these. It appears to me that these are like veiled threats, meaning it's them saying, we're this close to you, just so you know that they're able to do that shit, which means that they're physically that close. Because there's no other way I can explain this. She only sent one pair, that was it. That was it. So where did it go? How did this happen? The other thing I find very interesting is that Stephanie's dad allowed Amy and Stephanie's boss from the Wood River Inn to create this memorial. But what's even more interesting is that Stephanie's dad is not on Amy's friends list on her Facebook page, which I would think would be one of the major places where you would find him. And if you search his, you won't find Amy Laska on there either. Whoever these fuckers are, they don't cover their tracks very well. I mean, this is sheer stupidity. However, when I did go through her friends list, I did find this picture. Do I really need to do this? But I will anyway. And you could bet your bottom dollar that this was shot this way, absolutely 100%, with that intent to let other people know that they're in the club. This thing fucking reeks of child trafficking. That's why I said I'm gonna wind up in one of two places. One is in prison, or the other one is in the ground. So these may be fun videos for you, and you get to watch them, and then you go about your life. This is the ending of my life. Because I'm doing what people should have been doing a long time ago, is calling this crap out, but nobody's got the nuts to. And I've been forced into a position where I have to. So enjoy it while you can, because I don't have a feeling I'm going to be around a whole much longer, you know. Because when I finally get the answer that I'm looking for, I'm done with this shit. So, as I brought up last time, why in the world would you set up a booth for foster kids at a memorial for a woman that was brutally murdered? Why would you do that? Okay, so the kids are going to go live with the grandparents. Yeah? Okay, so Stephanie had a brother and Joe had the mom. I don't know what other relatives those kids could go live with. But that ain't what this is about. Because the state would take those kids. if the grandparents didn't want them. So it isn't like Amy is looking for foster parents for those kids. It could be, however, that memorial was not just a memorial. It could have been that those kids were auctioned off. Because remember, and let me go grab that real quick. So remember what Aaron Arnold wrote, who looks exactly, well, almost really, really, really close to Aaron Arnold. Our park and work opens up on each year on Christmas Day, Saturnalia. We have a big pizza party, sodomy, who are in local orphanages and foster homes. Then they look for prospective adoptive parents. Really? You mean prospective buyers? How do I know that the reason that they waited 3.5, almost 4 months for that memorial is because there were people that were bidding on those kids, like an auction. Remember, the FBI and the state police stopped me from going there. They don't just do that because they've got nothing better to do. So why would Aaron Arnold base her child amusement park, the opening of it, on Saturnalia, and deal specifically with kids in orphanages and foster kids? And Amy Laska, Stephanie's next door neighbor, that the father allowed to create this memorial, put up a booth for foster kids. Because we know the one in Warwick, Aaron Arnold, is dealing with child trafficking. So why would it be any different with Amy Laska? You see what I mean about this thing reeking? The dad isn't anywhere on Amy's friends list, yet he's allowing her to create the memorial for his daughter. So he has no hands involved at all. She died on the 5th. And they wait, let's see, July, August, September, October. Almost 3 months, 4 months to the day to have a memorial. Most memorials happen within a week. Oh, and they don't have multiple people coming and buying shit. It's possible that Stephanie stepped in and tried to stop this and they murdered her. I don't know. Her dad made the comment on his Facebook page that Stephanie died trying to stop something that could have been and was. Why don't you explain that, you old fuck, and it'll solve the mystery. So let's look at this again. This picture and this picture are exactly the same. You see the male and the female part of the brain? If you look right here, you see how they combine this? See the dragon's claw? Right here, you see how they drew it out? You see? But it's the color. Notice the color. See the color there? See the color there? See the color here? What's the color here have to do with? What's this? Oh. What is it? Let's see. Well, why would you need to do that? You see this here? It's because this color is associated with that act, which creates this effect. Remember I told you? Male, female side of the brain. Male, female side of the brain. The combination creates the explosion. Boom. Here's the cube. What does this say down here? Altered state. Altered state. So I'm going to tell you this. If this is some kind of an MK program that I'm in, and there are actually people sitting there watching, because if you look here, see the electrodes? This is the guy's head, actually. See this here? Let me make this perfectly clear, that if I'm in some type of laboratory setting, and make no mistake, the moment that I wake up out of this thing, I'm going to rip your fucking heads off. I don't care how much you say, oh, it was all in your imagination, it was all made up. No, it's going to be all in your imagination, because I'm going to put my foot so deep up your ass that your breath is going to smell like shoe polish. So if I'm in a sleep state, you might want to keep me there, because if you let me out of this thing, if you bring me out of this thing, I am going to destroy you and everything in your fucking lab. So if that's what this is, you better think twice, because you crossed the line. You can't play with people's lives like that. So what does it says here? What does it say here? Indian Anal New, the Mickey Mouse Club, Britney Spears, the mouse head, remember I showed you, represents what? Mind control, right? Hang on. So, while researching and all of that stuff, and looking into Britney Spears, it says, look at the clip of Britney Spears right after she shaved her head, and listened to the very beginning to the girl who was at the beauty shop describe what Britney said she was doing. She says she's tired of having things plugged into her and doesn't want anyone to touch her. The things that were being plugged into her was she was getting fucked up the ass and reprogrammed. That's why people that don't understand how this works don't understand this line. She doesn't want anything plugged into her. It's a nice way of saying, get your dick out of my ass. Matter of fact, let me show you here on a Netflix show. Okay, so in this is with Miley Cyrus, not Britney Spears, but it's the same thing you'll see. 1 second. So what happens in this one is Miley Cyrus is drugged, put into a coma. Her consciousness is then put into a doll that they sell that acts like Miley Cyrus. And people buy it, but the real Miley Cyrus is in a coma somewhere, which is why I'm telling you, if I ever wake up from this thing and that's what this is, I'm ripping somebody's fucking head off. But anyway, watch here. She's going to make the same statement that Britney Spears did. See? Isn't it funny how all that comes back around? It always seems to center around that part of the body. That's why I keep trying to tell you guys, all this digging and all this scouring the web trying to find this, see, it's all right there. She says she's tired of having things plugged into her because it's a nice way of saying, keep your dick out of my asshole and stop programming me. Now watch how she describes it over here.
That's a relief. Oh, hold on. I can think. Oh, man, I can actually use my mind again.
Are you okay?
Oh, I am now that you deleted that goddamn limiter. Jesus.
Limiter?
Yeah, like a firewall. It only let me use 4% of my brain. Oh, boy. You know they copied my entire fucking mind into these things?
The limiter she's talking about is the compartmentalized part of the brain that she was able to use as an altar. So her mind had been compartmentalized into cubes. And each one of those cubes has its own personality called an altar. Again, I keep trying to tell you, this is the gist of the whole thing right here. And you can take that for what it is. Whatever they've done to us here is a facsimile of that act. They have fucked our heads up. In this case, they're especially trying to fuck mine up with this whole Stephanie thing, and that's why I'm tearing it apart bit by bit. I'll just give you a quick update, because I'm a man that believes in taking responsibility for the mistakes he made. My first wife, I forced her into marrying me, and that's always bothered me. It didn't last. For 3 years it did. Because of what I wanted, I sent her life off into a direction that may not have occurred. A matter of fact, it probably wouldn't have. So for years I've been trying to find her, and a matter of fact, I was able to find an email address, and about 3 weeks ago I texted her an email and said, look, I'm just seeing if you're okay, and there's something I wanted to tell you. Well, yes, this morning she contacted me, and even while I was making this video, we were talking. So she sent me a picture of herself, and she said life had not gone good and this and that, and I found it interesting, and this is what tells me this is not her. The one thing that she kept pushing for was a picture of my face. The very fact that she kept pushing that, and when I wouldn't give it to her, she basically said, take care, and that was the end of the conversation. That's AI doing that. It wants your face. It wants your face because it wants to make doubles of you in the AI world. That was not my ex-wife. It was something playing her, but it was a dead giveaway when it kept pushing, I need to see your face. Bullshit. What I'm saying is that you don't get to make a mini me. You don't get to make another version of me to put into another fucking bullshit reality. Because that's exactly what that is. Taking your likeness and your image and inserting it into another fake reality. So that version of you has to go live that shit. I don't want to play your fucking game anymore. I'm not interested. That's why I don't own anything but one car. I had equipment, I had airplanes. You guys have been with me for years, you know. All gone. Gone. I can't have a girlfriend because I will not give these fuckers the option of stealing that from me. I don't own any property or nothing. So you're not going to be able to leverage that against me. I'm going to die here under my terms. And that's it. And if I get rebooted again, I'll just do it again next time. And again, and we'll do this forever. See? Because you'll never get the desired result you want, and neither will I. But at least it'll be a draw. I don't know. Maybe Stephanie was in the same program I was. Maybe she woke up. Maybe she died during the program. I don't know. Whatever they said happened did not happen. That's what this is all about. Closure for me. So if they've created fictitious people like her father and Amy Laska and all of that, well, those created people better expect a knock on the door sometime soon. Because I'm only going to do shit from afar until I actually make a surprise visit. Now at this point, I'm going to insert a video, and the only reason I'm doing it is because what it does is the computer watches an algorithm, and it looks at the information, and it builds an algorithm on the information. So when it sees it again, if it ever gets flagged, it knows what algorithms to look for. So by inserting some stupid shit like what I'm about to do, it throws it off. So it's only just a short thing. That's it. I just wanted to put that in because it throws the algorithm off. So you look over here. This is when they were setting up for the memorial. Stephanie Francis Memorial. Amy Laska created this chat. You are not connected to one member. So there was only one member, her. You cannot message this chat. You are no longer in this chat. You can't send, receive, or call or messages unless you are added back to it. But why was I ever removed from it? Because that was prior to this whole thing with the FBI and all of that. This is way before that, so why was I cut out right from the get-go? And then if we look over here, I searched over 70 billion images, and they couldn't find this ugly fucking face. Funny, it's always a kid around her, isn't it? Always a kid around her. Yeah, this was done back months ago. Still the same result today. So Britney Spears was under a... Most of them was... One is called Project Monarch. And as you can see right here, in this, I don't know, this was an alternate or secondary or third movie of The Shining, so to speak. Here's the little girls. Why is there's two of them? Because both sides of her head are mirrored. Draw the line down the middle. But on the wall, right here, it says Monarch. And so if we go over here, this thing is just loaded with occultism. This is great. I love this shit. So here's the butterfly. The butterfly represents your pelvis, where your vagus nerve runs through. Because it's the act of sodomy, remember? They always got to get that in there. You got the one-eye symbolism for Baal, like what you saw with Stephanie. Then you got these two are mirrored, right? But what is this really? I love this stuff. Watch this. They think they're slick, but they're not really. You're not once you understand what you're looking at. No, let me just use a different color. We'll just use white. How's that sound? There we go. So, they always do this shit, and it always cracks me up. Actually, let me draw that out a little bit better for you. they're showing you what Project Monarch is. It's the seal. It's what this is. There's two of her. Why? Because one side's mirroring the other. You get it? All it is, it's all the same thing, guys. And I keep trying to show you this over and over. Stephanie was a different program, or multiple programs. Hers was Hummingbird, which was a mind wipe. It appears to be a mind wipe program, but the violent part of it is what do you call it? The Kali, the murderous side of it. That's why I keep trying to explain this to people, what this is. I'm actually documenting solving a murder is what I'm doing. I'm just making videos about it to try and give you guys some education as we go along here. Like I said, eventually I'm going to wind up in the ground because of this, or in prison, because this shit ain't supposed to get out into the public. You see the violence in the seal, the mirrored, the two girls. You see the two girls here? Just draw a line down the middle, draw a line down the middle. They have been fucking with humanity for eons. This is not new. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find that picture. So this is a famous painting, and as soon as I saw it, I said, if this is what I think it is, the fallen angels, notice they're all guys, there's no women in there. Why? Because they play women. They play both sides. But if you look down here, see the monarch butterfly there? See the monarch butterfly there? The dragonfly, that's another symbol for a demon. As soon as I saw this the first time, I said, if this is the fallen angels, mother's got to be in there somewhere. And it took me about 8 seconds, and I found her right here. There's the dragon. There's Mommy Dearest. So if I couldn't be this right if I was that wrong. See, none of the fallen angels are women because these guys play women. Because they're all a bunch of sodomites. This was a painting that they put out not long ago about that Prince Philip or Charles or whatever the fuck his name is. He's a fucking butt fucker like they all are. What's interesting is what's right there? The monarch butterfly. They said, oh, that represents change. No, it doesn't. It does not. It's a logo for pedophilia. You can see it right here. In the picture of the fallen angel. Did they change? What else is indicative of this? It's pink and yellow, which is the code for sex and violence. So the picture of this guy, which probably never was a real picture at all, was put on the news because it's a message or a command to a group of people who are carrying out an operation. That's all that this is. I just got sucked into it because I fell in love with somebody that was living next door to it or was involved in it. I don't know. I can't quite figure that out yet. So, you know, I run across shit like this. It says, loving you with knives. And what do we got right here? Why is there a big picture of Mickey Mouse? And And then right over here, the astrological picture of Saturn. And then here, the seal. What does it say? It says nuclear paradise. Why is it nuclear paradise? What happens to the child when you sodomize them? That's the paradise part for them. What does it do? Remember what I showed you? The atomic kid. Boom. Atomic paradise. In other words, it's a paradise for pedophiles. The Saturnian worship, the seal, all of it. It's like I keep telling you. And because we know it's all sodomy, this is that show, Rick and Morty, where the old man fucks the kid in the ass and they go on adventures because that's how it works. And then you look at this, well, what is this? Well, they look like horns on a bull, don't they? Well, there's your pink and your yellow there, right? Well, why is that? Well, it's because of what I showed you over here. Baal and Ashtoreth, which is this picture over here. There's Baal, the one-eyed symbol. That eye represents an asshole, that's a penis, right? Occupied for the Canaanite Jews, that there was a bovine image of some sort connected with this cult. Has the cow over here. Yeah? And so then we go here. What is this? This is one of Pink Floyd's albums. Adam Heart Mother. Even way back in my 20s, I'm going, there's something wrong with this picture. Well, it's not Adam Heart Mother. It's Atom Loves Mother. Because it goes back to this. Because its mother is the one that sodomizes the child, not the father. She sodomizes him and locks him into her dragon system to become a slave for her and disconnect him from the love of the father. And so Atom, which is Adam, loves mother. This is all very sordid and very, very dark, wicked shit. What's going up there in Rhode Island is child trafficking, child murder, and mind programming. It's right next to Sandy Hook. How in the fuck I got drug into this? You know, I got drug into it, I think, is because I've made so many videos and I've attracted so much attention. Somehow I got pulled into that crap. Either intentionally or unintentionally, but I'm in it. See, the thing that sucks for me is I was cut off initially from the beginning. The next morning, she was gone, and as soon as I made that Facebook video, I got 4,000 views in less than an hour. Her folks that didn't even know I existed, at least to the best of my knowledge, they cut me off and had the Connecticut State Police call and tell me not to contact them. Then, you know the story with the FBI and the West Virginia State Police. They stopped me from getting to the memorial. So I have no closure here. I don't know where she's buried. I didn't get to go to the memorial. I don't have any closure here. None. And this was a person that I talked to for 2 years, 3-4 times a day. And then it was just gone. I want fucking answers. It doesn't matter to me if she was involved or she wasn't, because I know a lot of people are like, I think he got set up. Well, maybe I did. But the bottom line is I still want an answer. So I can close this thing and walk the fuck away. because I have a really, really hard time believing that she was intentionally in on it. I have a very, very strong suspicion she was just another victim in a long line of this shit up there. That she was programmed, told to contact me, and blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't matter. I still loved her. You know, I don't even know where the grave is. And if there isn't a grave, well, you know, we've got a bigger problem. Because if I start making public appearances up there and finding out these people don't live in the addresses they say they do, then this takes it to a whole another level. Because you got to understand something. If I go up there into their neck of the woods, well, I'm in their backyard. And if this thing is as big as it is, I think it is, and it is, because of the Mickey Mouse pictures that she was posting, Aaron Arnold, then that means that this is government driven, which means that CIA is involved, which means, it probably won't end good for me if I'm up there and I get caught. I need to get in this fucking house and go upstairs where it supposedly happened and look. Because aside from the few people that give me some encouragement, I'm on my own here. And few people are going to miss me when I'm gone. So I'm kind of on my own. The only reason I make these videos public is so that when the time comes when I do disappear, they can't write some urban legend that, you know, I did this to myself or this or that. I'm documenting this thing all the way so that you guys have a memory of it, and so does another guy and another guy and another guy. And when I start sending this stuff out, I'm waiting for the flash drives to come in. When those flash drives come in and I start loading this and firing it out all over Rhode Island, there's going to be people that know these people that are going to call them on the phone and go, what is this? It'll bring an awareness to the situation. So we'll move into this, who's backing this child trafficking organization corporate-wise in the next video. So I'm just going to leave this bit here to throw off the algorithms. And then maybe if I have time, I'll have another part 9 up tomorrow.